And so as you're looking at this, it's unusual because it seems to be from an anonymous point, which means someone went to like a public data center and just shot an email to you. And so as you're looking at it, you see that the email is a call for help. This person is apparently a very young fan. He's like a teenager. And he is saying that his mother has been kidnapped by some sex traffickers and he hasn't seen her. And because he's not in a corporate control zone, there isn't like a police or anyone who's been willing to listen to him, and that, he's been following Henrik for all this time, and he hears that Henrik is the kind of person who would come in time of need, and that these gang members have been terrorizing his neighborhood for a while now, and he's afraid of what's going to happen to his mother.
So Kitty kind of reads this one with interest. It's like, another publicity stunt in the waiting. This is perfect. And so she's probably been sorting the fan mail into like hate mail, I love you, and there's just like this empty folder of like actual things to do, and she just drags that one email up there, and it now goes from 0 to 1. There we go. Given that it's sent from a public terminal and it's anonymous, there's of course no possible way to like directly give feedback or like send a message or anything, right?
No, there's no. I mean, you could reply, but since it's a public data terminal, it's kind of like for all intents and purposes, it's like monkey, like monkey mail. I forget what that was called, monkey share or whatever. It's where you could just create anonymous emails and shoot them out.
And I know we went like half descriptive with it, but is there enough information there to like tell like who's being kidnapped, around where, or who they what relation the kidnappee and this person have, that like we can maybe return them to them later or something?
Yes, there's even though he identifies himself as his fan name, he identifies himself as inside the email. I will give you a name. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
His name is, this one sounds cool. Identifies himself as Fire. And his mother's name, where am I? His mom. And we'll make them McCormick. Kyer McCormick and his mom, Rosia McCormick. There we go.
All right.
McCormick.
So, Kyer wants us to look for Rosea.
Right, his mom. And so the anonymous email gives you a district. You can look at the header and go, okay, this came from this part of the city. You'll have to do a hacking search, unlock any further information.
Okay. Well, I got some good library search, and I could definitely pull up some information. If we want to go ahead and make that check. Sound good?
Absolutely. Let me just pull up the hacking rules real quick.
Yeah, I was just, before the game started, I was like going over, it's like, alright, what are all my bonuses? I got my numbers, which in this case are for finding a target, is my intelligence, find library, and my interface. Or at least I presume it probably should include the interface.
Just double check that program. Hacking computer combat.
I tried to set up the macros too, but they didn't quite agree with, anything. Oh well.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to, like I said, I played around with that page, and I figured out a way to make it work. You could put like a computer in there, and you could actually put like the different programs, so you could just click them and they run as operations.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more fussing to make that work. But
if you want to,
go ahead and roll find library.
Find library or find target?
Well, finding target is the action that uses find library here.
Do a system knowledge check.
System knowledge check instead then. Okay, I'll go ahead and roll that. Doop-a-doo. Straight system knowledge, no changes.
According to this.
Okay, 19.
It's still a good roll.
Mm, 19. Okay. And so, yeah, within a couple of minutes of you combing through the relative backtracing and the IP trace certs, you're able to identify a specific district and a neighborhood in which the terminal that was used to create this email is on this. Basically, you're like, it's in this node cluster in this part of the city. You'll have to, let me see what else you have to do to continue on. If I infiltrate it. All right, so now this is the big one. It's a public terminal. We're not going to make it fairly. We're not going to make it fairly hard for you to get into. So just do a hacker roll, which is intelligence plus programming plus interface. This is the one where
Infiltrate
it's plus interface
and
comp
computer speed.
So
yeah,
interface
plus 22.
Oh, Jesus.
programming
I
skill.
am a specialized character, thank you.
Programming skill, interface, comp speed plus D10.
We got a 32. I rolled a 10.
Yes, within a couple of minutes,
I don't know if 10s explode here or not.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
All right.
Yeah, once again, within a few more minutes after identifying the general node cluster that the terminal originated from, you're able to hack in even further. This is a rather shitty part of town, so the infrastructure is not that sophisticated. And yes, you have a corner address where the terminal is located. So you know that at this date and time, in this location, someone accessed this terminal to send this email over to you. And so from this point, control do you have after infiltrated? So no. All right, so yeah, let's see. You're infiltrated. So let's see what you can do.
Quite a number of actions. I have to go ahead and pull up that book too.
All right, depending on what you want to do, it's going to take a certain number of minutes. There's no defense system, so there's no repercussions for you getting caught. You just might just get bumped off the network, but your hacking attempt was so high that we're going to say for all intents and purposes, no one knows you're there right now. No one cares either. So according to this, to do all right, so you got a date, you got a time, and you got a location. So figure out at this point is you can run another system search, right? Do a library search or system knowledge and see if there are any closed circuit TVs in the vicinity that may have recorded this person using the terminal.
That sounds excellent. So which thing was I rolling in particular?
You're going to do another library search.
All right, so straight find library.
A library search. You have to scan the network again to see if you can locate a relative network that you would have to hack into to see the CCTV.
Here's a straight library search. 19 again. I'm rolling real good here today.
You are, and once again, within a couple of minutes, you don't see anything close enough that you could probably get a good face out of. But you got one, at least a block. Notice that there's a closed circuit TV within a block of the terminal that you can access to. So you'll have to roll another hacking attempt to see if you can infiltrate that network to successfully access the feed.
Well, I rolled a 1, but
Ooh.
it still comes out of 23.
Yeah, that's a.
How does that work? Is that a fumble?
That's a good question.
Is that a fumble?
Do people fumble skill checks?
Yeah,
No,
well, we saw it with the driving. There was
there
fumble with driving. So
there is fumbling with driving. So give me 1 second. Let me just look that up really quick.
All right. We're gonna see if I light a few computers on fire or not in the process. I can't let Henrik outdo me.
well, like you see like the TV is starting to light up, like even more.
The CRT, it's emitting so many microwaves. The whole bar's on fire. Oh god.
Yes, you can fumble on skill checks. It's actually in the skill check section, the fumble table.
Oof.
So
1 in 10 chances to fumble.
is your hacking was programming, right? Which is all in intelligence.
Yes it is.
So roll a d10.
Roll another d10. 7.
7. Okay. You don't know anything about what's going on, and you don't have a clue about how to do anything about it.
Alright, cool. I mean, that sounds fine. They have
Basically,
cameras.
so basically, you were able to find the network. You try to hack into it, and then for some reason you failed, but you can't figure out what you did wrong.
That become a dead end, or should I keep rolling?
I guess you can make another attempt.
Alright, here's a second attempt to do even more hacking, and it comes out
Yeah.
31. There we go,
31.
back on my roll.
All right, you don't know what happened that last time, but this time around you managed to get in and you managed to access the feed. And so, yeah, as you pull up the time period that corresponds to the email, you see a rather languid figure walk up to the terminal and punch some things in. He begins to type. It seems like he was all well engrossed, and then a couple of minutes later, you can't see it because it's outside the view of the camera. He kind of looks over back of his shoulder, and he just quickly, you almost see like he kind of like finishes the email and shoots it off, and then he runs off. And
Ooh.
you can extrapolate roughly by looking up the map coordinate that you're pretty sure you know what building he ran into.
Ooh, very good. Now we got a place to just throw Henrik in. Now all we need to do is get enough camera footage of him shooting up the place.
Like I said, like for the live stream, what I use is I have the implant in my eyes that
Oh
allows to
yeah, of
record.
course. There you go. First person rocking out. There you go.
Oh,
All right, and so we're gonna go back to Henrik. Your
mhm.
opening act went off smashingly, and the crowd is completely psyched up. So why don't you make another play instrument check?
Uh,
Okay, wasn't exactly as groundbreaking, as polished as the first one, but you do manage to keep the music going at an acceptable rate. Why don't you make a charismatic leadership check?
to be honest, when I see the first version, I did think of Doom.
Yes.
Oof.
Right. And so while the music's not, and even though you kind of missed a couple of beats of music this time around, you've managed to keep the crowd going with with your act. So why don't you describe what you do and say to the crowd?
Um, yeah, my character, what he's going to do is he's going to mostly say, to the mic that I hope you're enjoying your day, night, or evening. I don't know what hours is it outside. I don't care. As long that we are having fun, that's the most important part. And don't forget, to talk with your friend about this event. Uh, Thank you, Muerte. And to be honest, if you are worried about things in your neighborhood that you are scared to see for yourself, don't don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to either send me an email or come talk to me personally, and I will listen to you and give you my help for whatever it is.
Who are you gonna call? All right, and so with that, the crowd, your diehard fans are totally into it now. They're all hyped up and jumping. You see several mosh pits going off at the same time. and the crowd seems to be responding positively. You do notice, Henrik, that out in the crowd, outside of the fans and general party goers, you do see a couple of people who, just because of your general experience, you know that they're industry people because they're not partying like everyone else. They're kind of like, they're like you. I guess you can imagine them like scouts at a baseball game. You know what I'm saying? That type. We're just sitting there watching you, and like you can see the scales on their heads. And so a couple of them are nodding their heads too, and they kind of have this look like, oh, okay, this guy still has it. So the message to my website for a piece of roll. That's a good one. And so yeah, you've been doing so far. The show's going off brilliantly. Kitty, you can see that the engagement is really high. You're even seeing some chatter outside of the regular echo chamber, music genre zones in the general press that, like, Henrik is still not, Henrik is maybe out, maybe down, but not out. Henrik might rise again from the flames kind of statements.
Yeah. Here, Kitty is like typing up her own little press report of the events. Like, went great, tons of fans, everyone around the city is hearing about it, and we'll send that off to like the usual sources that she wishes would publish it, but probably won't.
So there you go. And so, Muerte, why don't you make another awareness check?
All right.
Oof. Nothing escaped. Nothing escaped.
Yeah, no, literally nothing can escape your vision this time around. And you do notice down behind in the back of the crowd by where the bar area is, you see a couple of guys staring down at each other. They're not focusing on the performance.
How dare they?
Your combat tells you that those guys are about to pick a fight.
Well, I mean, there's already a mosh pit going on, so.
Not the mosh pit type, the type that's probably going to lead to someone going to the hospital kind.
Do I think it's
It's
Henrik
a
going to the
real
hospital?
brawl.
Happen?
Do I think it'll lead to Henrik going to the hospital?
No, but if you
Well, then
recall,
I'm not being paid for that.
No, remember,
That's the
there are several VIP people that have to be protected, so this has to be a fairly non-violent event.
Well, clearly not. There is a mosh pit going on.
Yeah, but mosh pits have their own rules. That's not that.
Yeah. Most people in mosh pits don't leave going to the hospital.
Well, I never know.
I know. I've been to several metal concerts, and if it gets out of control, it gets out of control. But generally speaking, most mosh pits, they tend to not be like bloodily violent unless there's no security. Or you're the Hells Angels at Altamont, then there's a whole nother story.
Damn. Yeah.
So you're not going to do anything? You're just going to watch this unfold?
Well, I mean, are they armed?
You don't know. You'd have to get closer to find out. You just know that there's going on.
Well, no, I'm not leaving the side of the stage because two guys want to fight each other and just leave Henrik high and dry. So no, I'm not taking that bait.
If those two is going to fight, I think it's gonna be a bit the thing for the doctor.
All right, so
there's more bouncers in the set, right? There's more bouncers here.
Yes, they didn't notice. They haven't noticed anything. They're more
just call them
up.
Just point them at the right direction. Like send a guy over there. Like you could probably have a hook up on them. Say, hey, listen, you got trouble brewing in the bar. You don't have to move.
That's good to know. I will take your advisement.
Trust me, I've worked enough gigs to know that most of the time you're not the person who actually does the moving. It's the staff in there.
No, I know. One, I didn't think I had anybody under me, and two, I don't think I actually care.
Well, that's true.
Motivation is what I'm getting at here, and I don't think two people picking a fight in the back of a concert is really something I care about.
Okay then.
I'm a big picture guy.
All right, so you're just going to tell one of the bouncers to take care of it?
I mean, I'll watch it for now. I'll keep my eye on it as well as everything else.
All right, but you're not going to tell a bouncer.
Look, if they're so bad at their job, they don't notice it.
Okay. Miguel, why don't you do another streetwise check?
Okay. Just straight up streetwise. This one is not a crit.
Okay. All right. If you want to, you can also make an awareness check if you want to look at the crowd.
Okay. That one is not that great. I'm gonna see. Where's my awareness?
It should be under intelligence. Intelligence.
Okay. No. That's a fumble.
Okay. Oh, that is a fumble. Wow.
And I'm gonna be right back.
So that's intelligence fumble, and that's a 7. Okay, yeah, you don't notice anything. Business is kind of slowed down. Actually, Henrik's a little too good at what he's doing. More people are focused on the performance now than partying. So you probably are familiar where this is the point of the party where the sales go down a little bit because people are more interested in partying than purchasing.
Yeah, I just switched to chatting up some honey somewhere, Like, talking and kind of like giving hints that, yes, I know people who know people, and I know Henrik, and, maybe if you'd like to see him later, that sort of thing,
All right. And so as you're chatting up a couple of chicks who are at the party, right next to you, I will say you're at the side where the 2 pool tables are at, sitting over there by the bar stools. On the opposite side of the bar area, behind the tables, you notice a few individuals actually, at first you're kind of like, it almost looks like the mosh pit thing, but then you realize like you're too close to the bar to be in the mosh pit, and a small fight breaks out among several individuals in the center of the bar. Unfortunately, before the bouncers who hadn't picked up on the fight because they were more focused on the stage and the mosh pits could see what's happening and intervene, you hear a scream and one of the participants goes down. It is in the darkness and the noise and the light of the crowd, but you do sense that someone just got hurt.
In the middle of the fight, huh?
Yes. And then within a couple of seconds, you see the bouncers finally wade into the crowd, separate everyone, and pull everyone apart. And so the fight has now kind of stopped.
And I go, me cago en 10, me hostia. And I just walk over there. It's like,
I just imagine him like just signing and going there like.
Yeah, I just go over there. It's like, look around and see who got their skull split or whatever.
Yeah, as you get to the edge of the now circled area that's been broken off, you see a couple of bouncers basically have a couple of guys in like half Nelsons and arm headlocks. And they're fairly, scruffy biker type gang members.
Yeah.
But what you see on the floor is not a gang member. It's actually a guy who's dressed in a very, very well made suit. Definitely expensive, like Hugo Boss type. He definitely does not fit into the crowd. First thought is like, this guy's at a metal show. And then you realize, because you were in the green room when the publicist was talking to Henrik, that there are several corporate record executives here, and as well as a few talent scouts. And you put 2 and 2 together, and you say, this guy must either be a talent scout or a record executive, and he's bleeding out on the floor right now.
Well, I go in, and it's like, mierda.
All right, so
I'm just spitting out, curses in Spanish. I was like, well.
And you put your glove like it's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt very bad.
Yeah. Well, I have my hand, my. So.
Yeah.
What's a bonus? That gives me a bonus. I think it's just. Yeah, put that. Like,
Well, you're my bodyguard, so.
All right, so
that's a medtech role, right?
is it a medtech role or is there a diagnosis role under intelligence?
Well, medical tech is generally considered to be the better of the two skills.
Diagnosis. Yeah, it's an illness. Diagnosis is an illness. I think it's like when you look somebody over.
And technical, there's first aid.
Yeah.
So medtech is considered to be the better of the two. First aid.
Yeah, medtech. First aid is just somebody who knows how to put their hands on a wound so they don't bleed out.
Make a medtech check and to see if you can figure out what his immediate problem is.
He got stabbed. Or at least is going to OD.
27.
Pretty good. So, checking his vitals and checking the wound, you realize that the stab wound was basically someone had come down on his clavicle, a little gap between the two bones here, and has pierced a major artery going to his heart. So he is bleeding out to death, and you're going to have to do a quick emergency action to stop the bleeding and stabilize him.
You put your finger in it.
So, literally, because I'm going to inject him with a pain, I'm going to pain medication. And I was like, stay still, my friend.
Oh, right.
Do a pharmaceutical check to see if you can figure out the proper dosage.
Right, because you have the hypodermic fingers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
With my farm is not that high. Farm is only 5. That's a technical skill.
See, if I had been a badass, you wouldn't have been able to be a badass. It's a trade-off.
And you need to impress those girls.
22, yeah.
All right, that's a good roll. So yeah, your medical triage training kicks in a high gear. You give him a quick, you're like, he weighs about 30, 40 kilos. He needs so much dosage. You shoot him up, and you see that the medication is starting to take hold. Do it now and do another med tech check to see if you can. There is no surgery skill, is there?
I think
med tech also counts.
Med tech.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So do another med tech check to see if you can quickly pinch off the cut on his artery and stave off the blood loss.
Mm-hmm. 22.
And once again, with the deftness of your experience,
I'm being robotic. I'm basically literally being robotic, like, do this and do that. I'm talking to myself, it's like, this.
Yeah, like you're used to it.
Yeah, no, it's just this.
And your former trauma team experience kicks in, and even to the quite the impressive glances at the few of the bouncers who've probably seen a few of these scenes play out. You have managed to temporarily pinch off his artery, and you have now stabilized him. You're going to have to call an ambulance to get him to the emergency room.
If he's a suit, I reach into his suit, his pocket, pull out his trauma team.
And sure enough, as you pull out the little whatever key membership code, you can see like trauma team surgeons inbound in 5 seconds. And within a few seconds of that, you will really see a bunch of armed guys just basically knife their way through the crowd.
And I tell the bouncers, I shove them outside. It's like, get the hell out of the way,
Oh no, they know. They see that they see the trauma team guys, and they immediately, not only do they get out of the way, they force the rest of the crowd to move part ways from there. And then within a couple of seconds, you see the trauma team bundle this guy up in their emergency stretcher, and almost like a rescue combat team with a couple of them with their SMGs, like pointing out to the crowd, like pull the corporate executive. Some drunk party goer didn't get the memo and like stumbled out of the crowd, and you see one trauma team guy like literally elbow him in the face and push them back into the crowd. And then within a couple of seconds, you see him bundled out of the door, and then
because I know the drill. What I do is I basically walk them out. Like, I know the guns, and I've said that, and they see me covered in blood, and you kind of know that I'm when it's the same thing. So as I'm walking down, I don't go all the way out. I just walking down to the door. So he had this and this and this, and I gave him I gave them 20 cc's of this, so he should be fine now for don't know. And basically, I rattle off what I found, so they have an idea where to go. Which is what you do when you're in EMT.
Yeah, and so the
handover is like yeah.
And so this is actually kind of jarring for you, Miguel, because normally you're on the other side of this experience, but now you get an idea of what it looks like from this side. So the one trauma team guy, he doesn't point his SMG down. You literally are talking into the barrel of a gun the whole time. But he does listen to what you're saying, and then finally he's like, "I got that, thank you." And then as they go out the door, he just turns around and walks out. So yeah. But that's what you experienced. But you're used to it. Like you would have been one of the guys in this SMG, like telling people to back the fuck off. So,
but it still kind of pisses me off. So when he turns around, like with the music and everything else is too loud. But it's like when he turns around, he's kind of away from earshot a little bit. I go like, pendejo.
So So now you have never seen what it's like to experience a trauma team rescue from the other side. This is your first time actually seeing it as a civilian.
Yeah.
And so within a couple of seconds of that, the crowd fills in again. The bouncers, a couple of bouncers walk over and say, thanks for that. A couple of them actually like, yo, that guy was a pretty serious muckety muck from the record executive. If he had died in our club, that would have been a big scandal. So you're like, we owe you a beer, buddy. And so yeah, you got a couple of free rounds at the bar for doing.
And I tell the guy, I said, this is what I do. When I do it right, nobody cares. When I do it wrong, everybody cries. So
yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. That's our sin to bear too. And
turns out Archangel's been writing lyrics.
And so yeah, so you within a few minutes you're back at the bar. You actually got a couple of more groupies now. And good job. You managed to save somebody. And Henrik, as you're performing, you have seen this unfold completely. You saw the fight break out. You saw your med tech come over and the trauma team come in and out. So we'll go back to your thing. What do you do when you see this happen?
I'm gonna continue playing.
Right.
It's not my first time that a fight broke off during a concert, and that's why I hired Archangel, because he's doing his job great, and I know that when I saw him going to the guy, that I knew everything was under control. So, and
All
from
right.
my team, I have my character have himself like subscription to Trauma Team, so you know the deal.
All right. So why don't you make another play instrument check down your set? So this will be the finale of your performance. And this time, you and your backup band, your session players, you're in full swing. You're in total sync, and the performance rises to the appropriate crescendo and culminates in the epic climax that you've always rehearsed for. Why don't you do a charismatic leadership check?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you got the crowd eating off your hands. Tell us how you finish off your set. Crowd's loving you right now. It's probably one of the best performances you've done in the last year. People will be talking about this performance.
Well, what he's going to do is that when he kind of finish, he's going to put his axe guitar in the air, get closer to the mic and say, "As you all know, I took an oath to myself some years back that I will fight this corruption and crime, even if I lost limbs or even my life. If I die during those action, we well, I just remember that if I die during those actions that I did what I wanted to do and I die for what I love and wish to accomplish, as remember every time that you see me in the street that I will fight until I die.
And
Even
with that, the crowd is totally, hyped up and screaming your name, and a couple of people are chanting lines from your most, your most popular lines from your song.
Hmm.
And that's it. That's how you're going to finish off the night.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with that, the
Oh.
performance is over. You walk off the stage to thunderous applause and very happy and energetic crowd. You notice as you leave the stage the few record executives that are there. A couple of them are actually kind of looking at the crowd and looking at you walking off the stage, and you could tell, like, yeah, you've managed to make a home run tonight, and there will be a lot of wagging tongues in the industry about what Henrik is going to do.
Kitty, of course, waits for Hendrik to like get to the back and like starts cheerleading him, doing the hype and stuff afterwards. Like, yeah, it was a great performance out there. You really hit the nail. Oh man, our sales are gonna go through the roof. Here you go. Just like, here's some Mountain Dew. Go ahead and sit down. Hey, here's some of your fan mail telling you how great you are. You deserve it.
Well, yeah, well, Eric, well, if nobody like stop him or intercept him, he's going to slowly start, to walk to the back room.
All right, so Kitty, we're gonna leave off with you, at least for this part of the scene. And so as the performance ramps up to the end, like I said, this is the peak moment. You see the total social media engagement has climbed up to the highest level for the night. In fact, this time around, a few of your pre-canned press releases have been picked up by the wider press. Basically because Henrik is putting on a pretty damn good show, and so that plus the recent scandal has put his name up high up in the social media sphere. So he's actually is getting picked up by quite a few out of the norm press areas. And so you see that this has been a very, very successful media campaign, at least from a website streaming point of view. Like, you've hit all your numbers, and so you must roll an intelligence plus awareness plus interface check.
Ooh, let me see. Do I already have that set up? Intelligence, awareness, interface. Yeah, this is the detection check, I think. Yeah, there we go. I wrote down his name, so make sure I put down aware. Oop, there we go. I have a plus 17 on that sort of check.
Jesus.
Hey, it's my lowest check out of like all of this, outside of cyber attack defense, which is plus 6. 24 here though.
Okay, so
what's happening at the end?
Let me roll my thing.
You got luck points if you want to use them.
Technically true. I could probably like pop 1 and put it to 25, just in case that like is a new tier of results.
Yeah, but normal the luck point, you need, I think, to spend them before you roll.
If that's the case, then it's like, I gotta actually figure out how to conservatively spend those.
Really? Kind of doesn't make a lot of sense.
I have no idea how it works. I'm just going off.
Whoa. Luck points work per session. You can use as many luck points in any one session. They reset at the beginning of the next session.
No, I know, but they have to use them before the roll, not after.
No. You can do it after.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well,
25 pushed me up to a new tier result.
Oh.
No, you're fine.
Cool.
Well, actually, it all depends on my roll. So let me roll first, and I'll let you know whether you need to put luck points into it or not.
You do a fumble.
Okay, and you don't. What you have noticed is in the midst of basically multitasking several things, you notice an intrusion on to your website.
Mhm.
Someone is attempting to hack into the website.
Yeah, and this is the point where I need to hunt them down and cut their connection personally then.
Yes. So
physically.
Well, I
you can
could
confront the hack.
actually
All right,
do some kind of trace if I infiltrate them during combat, but that also takes time, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, now that you've discovered him, you have several options. You can confront him directly, confront him covertly, or simply shut down the hacker's access, booting him from the system.
I'd like to try to infiltrate him to find his location first.
All right. So if he decides to trace or confront the attacker, provides the attacker with access to the system and can no longer simply shut him out of the system. So for you to attack him or trace him, you'll have to let him in.
Okay. Come into my web. My interweb.
All right, and the user size. Notice this is.
And even if he
All
succeeds
right.
to enter, Kitty can just change the code later. So.
All
right,
so
but
now,
it is basically accepting letting him do post damage if he gets that far if I don't stop him fast enough.
yeah. So now I got to roll first, and you'll roll second. So I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Now you roll because now you've let him in, and now you are attempting to infiltrate. Okay. So then that is right. Then
Yeah,
you have to
okay,
declare
cool.
before that. That's yeah. I guess that's silly though.
Right.
think you
Well,
should
given I
leave
don't
after
know what
that.
I'm going up against, I may as well just go in as I am. If we're doing the infiltration check, I got plus
Yeah.
22, and I'll roll that. How deep into his system do I go?
All right, so he does not detect you within a couple of minutes of you hacking into his system. You backtrace him, and you realize this is coming from a domain. Within a couple of minutes, you realize is being controlled by another musical act called Deathbringer.
Oh, fuck's sake!
Deathbringer.
Why we cannot be friends?
And so, just to let you guys know, this is actually how they title themselves, just so you guys could see.
Oh, yeah, just
Late speak.
and so yeah, apparently there's a hacker coming from the Deathbringer domain network that is attempting to infiltrate your network, and it seems like he's trying to shut off the live feed right at the culmination of the performance.
All right. So now with the time that I have left, I have to see if I can stop him
it's
before
intentional.
then.
Yes, Morte, it's intentionally spelled that way. Deathbringer is.
Well, no, they're missing an N. It's Deathbringer.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's exactly my point.
Well, even if they were doing lead speak, they'd still have an N there.
Deathbringer, we throw you in the brig and you rot and die.
Calm down, little lady.
All right, so let's see. So what is my option to stop them at this point now that they are in the system? I believe I have to cyber attack them?
Well, you can't shut them out of your network anymore since you let them in.
Mm-hmm.
You can attempt to trace the hacker to find out specifically where he's located, like an address. It is actually illegal to be caught doing this, so you could dime him out to the cops, and there would be the Night City Police Department would send a squad to go over there and arrest him for infiltration and hacking.
Right.
Or you can attempt to attack him directly and shut him out, basically hurt him and kick him out of your network. Or you can save this for later and At this point, he doesn't know that you know that he's in. Haha. And so at this point, you have the option of literally feeding him false information so it looks like he's succeeding in his hack, but in reality, nothing's happening. He'll know within a couple of seconds after he does it, like the stream didn't go down. Why is my computer saying the stream's offline and I'm still watching it live?
That does sound hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could do that. You could just you could dime him out to the cops, or you can attack him.
Well,
Okay.
we know that the cops are corrupted, so
Right, and at the very least, I know like what group he belongs to, so I can blame them later. But so I have attack him, slow him down, trace his exact location. Instead of tracing his exact location, I will attempt to feed him false information. Let us see how far he gets as I completely just throw up barriers in his way that he thinks he's succeeding.
All right. So just to make this simple, we're gonna make this another versus roll to see if you successfully fool him enough to throw him off his hack. So you roll first.
All right, doing good there. 31.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a miracle. No, there's oh, and I'm
He also
rolling
rolled a
back.
2.
Yeah.
I don't know what bonus he has, but that's not good.
He doesn't have anywhere near the goal. This guy's small time. You know, it's within a couple minutes. This is a small time guy. You know, he's punching way. He has no idea who he's dealing with.
yeah.
To shut down the stream, please enter your credit card number.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, you have totally duped him. You feed him dummy information. You basically make him think that he's doing all this amazing hacking stuff, and then literally as he tries to shut the stream off completely, he sees that nothing's happening. You throw up a little little hacker taunt message that you guys do to each other. Why don't you describe that? What is your little your little hacker message? Because most hackers definitely have like a splash screen or something that they do when they commit hacks.
That's a good question. How deep are we? Like, are we doing like full on like GIFs here as hacker symbols, or like just send them a text message like, haha, mess with the rest?
Anything you want, dude. It's your hack. You're the hacker. It's your style.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to look like he's about to shut off the stream as he's like in his VR interface, surfing the web, hacking the tubes and stuff.
That's what I was going to say.
As he's like finalizing it and uploading the last bit, and he's starting to get feedback information of like the stream like fritzing out, going staticky, it's going to explode into a bunch of cats and just surround him.
Okay, and then in virtual reality, you see the hacker who's in virtual world is doing a bunch of hand motions and stuff like that, and literally he sees the explosion. He sees all these cats, and at first he's desperately trying to like come up with some code way because he thinks this is some sort of final barrier like defense that he's not aware of, and then he literally he's looking at the cats like not even understanding what's going on, and then all of a sudden it just dawns on him, and within like 5 seconds like he's like fuck, like the gravity of the fact that he's basically just been duped this whole time, and then you just see him angrily, like you see the universal motion of like disconnect, and then you see his digital avatar like dissolve away, and he
like just before he fully dissolves away, I go like, you got about the minute before the pigs get there.
And yeah, he angrily does the disconnect gesture, and his avatar fizzles away.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
So as that, Henrik finishes his final encore, and he walks off the stage to thunderous applause. And so it's basically the after party. You are all in the green room.
Yeah, YouTube rewind me cheerleading him all the way up to the party.
So at this point you're projecting. You've already sent off the raw footage to a couple of people that who can edit some quick videos together, and you have them displaying on the wall. You have all the diehard fans and groupies are all lounging around the green room.
Jesus fuck.
There too, he's also the life of the party because he rescued you get a phone call from one of your publicists, and he goes, "Hey man, I told you to keep it easy, man. I heard one of the record executives got stabbed in the heart." He goes, "Thank God you have that medic from trauma team on your staff, or else I don't know what could have happened."
Well, like
He
I
goes,
said,
he goes, good job. He goes, other than that, man, great performance, man. I'm getting a lot of phone calls, man. I'll get you back. Let's do lunch. And then he cuts off. And so, yeah, you're all standing there in the back. The after party is going. Henrik is the center of all attention. And so, yeah, what are you guys going to do?
Remember, mingle. These guys gave you $1,000 for the backroom tickets.
Yeah.
Babe.
It's like
Pay
half
for
your
this?
income here. Say hello.
I'm sitting in the back in that small lounge with two honeys, and then we tell you something. The blood, it doesn't really affect me that much. You get used to it. In fact, the blood kind of pumps me up a little bit more. So it's weird. I know it's a weird thing, but hey, you gotta save lives. Lives are important to other people, not me. Yeah.
So, Henrik, what are you going to do?
Well,
this is your party. This is your party now.
Well, I don't know, to be honest. Henrik is just, well, he did this show and he's going to motion to Kitty to come.
All right, Kitty, Henrik motions you over. You tell him that, you give him the message that he needs to mingle because this was all part of the...
Yeah, Kitty is like all straight-laced, suited up. The only thing like out of place is like her spiked gloves. And so she just seems out of place like at a party. But she's like standing there, like pulls out a tablet and like shows you like some of your emails. Like, you should read some of the hate mails too, it's hilarious stuff. But here's one that's actually more important than that.
Also,
And with that,
the kidnapping incident one.
So yeah, Kitty hands you a tablet where there's an email from a fan whose name is Troll Slayer, and since you are 40K themed, you know that there's a group of dwarves called Troll Slayers, and so yeah, he is reporting that his mother has been kidnapped by a bunch of sex traffickers, and that he desperately needs your help.
And if you take a look at this footage too, you can see him go into this building right over here.
And so, yeah, Kitty tells you the full skinny. She's got the address, or at least a general location of where the kid's living. And yeah, that's what you got. What are you going to do?
You should take a short break first, maybe hydrate up a little bit, at least.
I can do that, and maybe after we're going to go kick up some fuckhead.
It'll be a nice little bit of media footage on top of everything, won't it?
Yeah. And yeah, well, Henrik is going to hydrate up a bit. Because he's going to this time he's going to motion to the medic to come.
All right, Miguel, you see that after Henrik and Kitty have been commiserating for a couple of minutes, he waves you over.
Okay, he's like pulling out like a towel to put around his shoulder, like he's a sporting event.
Like say.
What are you gonna do, Miguel? Well, your boss is calling you.
Well, excuse me, honeys, sweethearts, amores. I gotta take this. Yeah. What's up?
You see a couple of them pout as you leave.
Well, you see Henrik say that. He's going to motion to the two girls like beside you and say motion that they come with you.
Oh, yes, come on, yes.
Oh, they're just happy as punch now, hanging out with Henrik and Miguel.
And I finger gun Kitty. He's like, nice, bro. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, Henrik?
So, how bad was the wound of the guy, Miguel?
He was dying, basically.
Yeah, no shit. A step to the heart.
He didn't die though, so that's good. Because I was there. So yeah, he'll live. He's probably gonna be like a good story about him slumming it, with the poor people and all that. Yeah, I've seen this guy before. I mean, I also noticed he had a couple of track marks. He actually likes the old fashioned, the needle one, which is stupid. I know. I mean, which century are we anyway? People are just chip up these days, but still, he likes his track. He likes his shoes, so I can't blame him.
Between all the trauma team that I saw, and talk
He'll
to.
be he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Well,
He'll probably
like,
get I don't know, maybe get a new liver or something just for free. You know, they're throwing it in. But
yeah, but like I was saying with all the trauma team, worker that I saw, that's the reason why I choose to give you my card to you, because I know you're working efficiency and quick, and you're the best at your job.
hey, listen, I'm not gonna be rude about this, but if I wanted a blowjob, the two honeys are waiting for me right here.
And Rick is going to laugh.
I appreciate it though.
and Enric is going like to pat your shoulder like in a friendly way and say, "Well, have fun, man."
Thank you. I owe it all to you, man.
Next time, remember to bring enough to share with the class, all right? And she'll just wink at you.
Hey! The ladies go where they want to go. I can't force them. Free will.
Just think of your poor nerd friend over here next time.
And I go in and I tell them, like, listen, you do not want sloppy seconds, okay? That's not good. That's not quality. I'm gonna tell you that much, okay? So next time I'll tell them that there's a very smart person who likes to do. Don't worry, I'll trade it. But right now, don't beg for scraps, man. It looks just so bad. It's not good. Okay. Good luck.
Enric is going to keep his big smile, like, and he's going to he's going to open the interface from his eyes, like the invisible interface that only him can see as he look at the hour first.
Okay, so just let's make this simple. So the party rages on for the night. I'm assuming you guys are all celebrating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone make a resist torture drugs check.
Well, and that's that.
Oh, wait, no. Actually, let me ask: who's gonna party, and who's not gonna party?
Well, I'm going just to talk with people and watch how things going.
Okay, but are you gonna drink and do some drugs?
No.
People are gonna offer. People are gonna want to party with you. So you're gonna have to decide whether you're gonna party back or not.
Well, and
don't forget, someone's life is hanging on the line, and they want you to save them.
I was going to say, no, I'm not like going to do drug or drink, but because he's going to say, well, they are his guests, and you want to be sure that he's able, like, to take care of them. So that's why you want to stay sober.
That's good. Katie, are you gonna party or not?
Do I look like the party persona?
The
answer is definitely not.
Okay, what about you, Miguel? Are you gonna party tonight?
The number one rule of being a dealer is that you do not touch your own stash.
Okay, and I'm assuming, Muerte, that you're not gonna party either.
I already did. I've been partying. I got a 25 on my roll though. I forgot to add the +4 from my toxin binders.
Jesus fucking man.
I do party, but not in that certain level, you know.
Well, someone around here is taking all the women, so the drugs got to go somewhere.
All right, so if you are going to party, obviously whether you overdo or not is what this check is going to show, whether you did too much or you were able to control yourself.
I passed a very difficult night of partying. That's what a 25 is. Yeah,
a 25 is you could do a whole bender and wake up tomorrow, drink some coffee, and you're good to go. So that's your epilogue. Miguel, roll a resist torture drug check.
But I didn't take any drugs.
You just say you were going to party.
Yeah, but that's what the honeys are for.
The other half of that.
Oh, that part.
Okay.
Never mind. Actually, make a seduction check.
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
So Miguel's into some hardcore shit. That's what the torture roll is for.
Well, that could be. That's under social skills, right?
Empathy.
Empathy. What's my empathy?
Yeah, I didn't realize that torture and drugs was under cool.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to get your cool, man.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be a body skill. Because resisting torture, I didn't realize it was going to be a cool thing.
Yeah, because it's weird because it's called cool, but it's totally not the definition.
Well,
cool is like stress.
Yeah, keeping
stress. It's more of it should be stress skills, not
That's right, though. I'm good
cool
at
skills,
it.
but whatever.
I got a 17.
All right. All right. So you had 3 girls. You only managed to convince one to spend the night with you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so
You're
yeah, you spend
famous,
it.
but you're just not Ice Cube.
I thought you and Hendrik were gonna hang out tonight. I didn't know it was just gonna be you.
Yeah,
to
I
the
wanted
girls,
sloppy
but...
seconds.
So yeah, it's obvious that 2 of the girls are only hanging out with you because they wanted to see if they could get close to him.
I know that. I don't care, you know.
You managed to convince the one girl though to go the whole night with you, and you guys have a good night together. And so the morning so we'll flash forward to the next scene. Tomorrow morning wakes up, and Henrik, you and Kitty are in a car with Miguel and Muerte, and you are driving to the location that the terminal is at.
Should
To
be
the
right
corner.
around here.
Yeah, and
sure enough.
yeah, we're driving to the
And
location.
it's a shithole. This is a shithole neighborhood. It's totally gang controlled. You know,
Yeah.
most of the buildings are in a very poor state, and you see a lot of shifty and skeevy people walking around. A few hulked out cars.
And Enric is going to ask Muerte by saying, "Do you think that sex slavers wear armor?"
Do I think that sex slavers wear armor? Is that what you asked me?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, armor piercing it is. As he changed the clip of his gun to put the armor piercing round.
If anyone has a streetwise check, they can make a roll to find out if sex slavers are heavily armored.
I mean, it's up to the individual.
How about you, Miguel? You have some streetwise too.
Yeah, I got some streetwise.
This is literally just indulging in a nonsense question.
Nope. I'm still too distracted by last night.
You're still too distracted from last night.
You're still remembering that blowjob.
As far as you know, Muerte, you know any criminal enterprise is usually comprised of some fairly well armed, and especially in the sex trade, it's a very lucrative underground business.
Well, me, I did a 17, so.
So, but then again, and you're right. It's a silly question because in your mind it's like, duh.
Well, I'm just asking for the discussion.
Yes, it's a nonsense question.
Is the Pope Catholic?
Doesn't matter.
So yeah, you guys pull up to the intersection, and the terminal is standing before you. You see a couple dilapidated buildings. Kitty, from your triangulation of the closed circuit TV, you can identify the building in which the kid went into after making the email, and you see it's basically a tenement apartment building.